Alright, today we are going to cover the Sansui OLED that is available at Micro Center for $800. I am not a YouTuber, so this review, slash whatever you want to call it, is going to be a little disjointed, but I got this TV, I found it very interesting, and there's a few things, peculiarities, shortcomings, but very interesting things that I wanted to point out about it. Okay, so here's the remote. It's actually a pretty damn nice remote. It is backlit, you can't really see that on here. Now, one of the peculiarities with the, and this is a stupid one, but we're just going to start going through them as we find them, is, okay, when you go to switch the input, so you see how it says HDMI game? Here are the options. You've got HDMI 3, DVD, blue. There's no custom option, and game is about as close to PC as it gets. Yeah. So that's kind of an odd one. Alright, we're going to switch to a different input. I'll go ahead and just go to the Odroid here. Now it's got Android TV built in, but I don't like using the smart functionality on TVs. It just is what it is. Oh, and if you saw that there, it is HDR10. This is what the Odroid N2 supports. It does not support Dolby Vision, so this is not a good indicator of its capabilities, but it, you know, it does what it needs to do. So let's go ahead and pull up the menu. Now, you see I've got developer options enabled. There are a few interesting things on that I will get into. Now, one peculiarity that I don't like, and we'll get, I'm just going to jump right to that. Oh, that's another thing right there. So you see how it says backkey for connected device? Now, this thing has really good CEC, shockingly good CEC. I'm using this remote. I don't have a remote on my Odroid. It's literally just this. So it works, but then we open up this, and there is actually something very interesting here. And I've yet to have a TV actually work like this.
Wow, those are some really great
so I hit back. As you say, that message pops up every time you hit back, even when you're in a different source. Now, one thing that I have working on this that I've never had work on any other device is the number pad. I can use the number pad over CEC. That's awesome. My freaking OLED, my LG OLED did not do that. My Vizio did not do that. My Samsung does not do that. This one does. PageWorks, like it's, yeah, it's really good CEC, super quick, very responsive. Yeah, I'm happy with the CEC there. So let's go back to here. Now, picture settings. This, oh, picture settings, here we go. You ready for all these picture settings? Okay, wide color gamut, screen brightness, brightness booster, that had been covered as being backwards. Yeah. Advanced settings, color temperature, noise reduction, low latency mode, dynamic contrast. So you'll notice there's no settings for contrast, no settings for color, no settings for sharpness, no settings for pretty much any of that. Huh, very odd. Definitely one of the more Spartan sets I've had. There's a, I do want to also show this off because I'm connected optically to my stereo. I know, I'm sorry, my room's a mess. But I'm connected optically to my stereo. But when you hit this, you'll see it says adjust the external device to control the volume. Okay, that's not unusual. Pretty much anytime you use a digital source, it's going to do that.
It's a big deal.
However,
but when you're 50 or older,
I do want to point this out, and you've got to go into, is it inputs or settings? I think it's inputs. No, it's not. It's settings. You got to go to settings, then TV inputs.
Get disability benefits.
Yeah, the menu's laid out weird. Every time you go into the actual menu, it cuts off the source, which kind of annoys me, because watch. Now I'm going to go into channels and inputs. No, it wasn't that. Where the hell is it? Display. Audio input. So when I go back to audio input, you'll see it brings up the little side menu and goes right back to the source, but why did you close my source? Anyway, digital audio volume. And it actually works. It's like, okay, that's very interesting. Why wouldn't you just tie that to the volume button? Like, you already have it there. Why wouldn't you just tie it to the volume button? So I found that peculiar. We're going to go deeper into the settings. I do want to show this off. Now, when I connected with optical, I had issues with it. I had issues with it actually outputting the audio until I turned off auto mode. So when I went into sound, audio output. See, I'm connected over SPDIF. When I had this set at auto, it didn't work. I think it works now, but it was defaulted to auto. No, it still doesn't work. No audio. Pass-through works. PCM works. Auto does not. Oh, okay. Well, alright then. So when you go back, it doesn't go back to the menu. You have to open the menu again, because once it brings up that little side menu, it just assumes you don't want to go back to this menu, which is frustrating. It definitely has its frustrations. It's not bad. I also notice it says Endgamer. And it's got a fairly recent patch. I'm already a developer, so, you know, did that. It does allow you to unlock the bootloader, and in, where is it, television. Alright, after 60 seconds, where was it? Right there, USB ADB. It has an ADB option. So you can enable ADB. Interesting. I can't say I've seen that on a TV before. Obviously you got OEM unlocking. The bootloader can be unlocked. Here's another peculiarity that I ran into yesterday. When I was on my PC source, you've got power and energy here, which I have set at 20 minutes. But if you set, oh, where the hell was it? Oh, there's another power setting here, idle TV standby. So I had this one set at 30 minutes, and apparently if you don't push anything on the remote, it'll turn off. I'm not sure why they have two idle TV standby things to turn it off, but okay. It was confusing me because I turned this one off and it was still turning off, and then I turned the other one off and that was what solved it. But yeah, it has some peculiarities there. I did also want to this stupid karaoke mode. So I find it interesting. You use the remote as the microphone, but
look at this. Medicare
but
prepaid card for
yeah, let me show here. I do want to also point out a peculiarity with the remote before I do that. See here, you've got that. You can't actually assign it. You can rename and forget it, but you can pair any Bluetooth accessory, and this is considered a Bluetooth remote. Yeah, so you've even got the Bluetooth address. So this is a Bluetooth remote. It works well with the CEC and all that, but when you use the microphone, I have to switch back to the actual thing. You can't pull that up in the menu because it wants to be on a source. So I use this. Alright.
That's right. You keep your Medicaid benefits and get even
I'm going to
more
turn
from
on
Medicaid.
karaoke mode. See, the light turns on. You can hear my voice coming through the speakers. Yeah, where the light is, there's a little hole above it. I don't think you can see it on my mediocre camera, but you'll see here. And you'll notice the audio's gone. You set vocal volume.
Lady Justice wears a blindfold.
So I don't know how useful that is. Hey, if you're watching sports and you don't like the play-by-play guys, you can use karaoke mode and then just turn off the vocal volume, turn down the microphone volume on that, and there you go. Now you've got no sports people. I obviously don't want to show that because if I showed like football or something, it'll get the video struck, but yeah. Oh, yeah, I probably should turn that off. That's going to annoy me.
I'm gonna translate. Taxis is coming out.
I mean, overall, it's good. I can give you a review on. I can tell you it looks really good and vibrant, but you know, you're watching probably on a phone. There's only so much that I can show you with a camera and your screen. Colors are super vibrant. I mean, it's freaking OLED. Yeah, see, there's that back key is for connected device notification again every freaking time. It's like, I'm well aware there's no way to disable that. I have gone through the menu over and over looking for a way to disable that. There is none. It's not there. And sometimes it takes a really long time to go away. It just sits there. It is. I see a lot of promise with this TV. There's a lot of things that I like about it.
It's so good.
But there are a lot of weird oddities. They put more effort into the karaoke feature than they put into the picture settings on an OLED TV. What? What? Why? It does support Atmos. I don't have Atmos. That's a stereo receiver. I don't really do surround. The on TV speakers are very compressed. Here, we're gonna change that. I don't want to get struck. Yeah, there's a lot of peculiarities. I want to find something that's not gonna get me struck here. Here, I'll do. Oh, I'm not gonna get that channel. What do I get? I don't know, throw on voices or Nova. I'm probably good there. It's public. It's public, right? Public broadcasting. It's got to be public. Where's I getting at? Yeah, they put more effort into the karaoke than the actual OLED stuff. The Wi-Fi seems fine. I connected it. I was testing something out. I don't normally want it on my network. I don't necessarily trust it on my network because it's, you know, everybody's selling data these days and it's Google TV. So, of course it's harvesting data. It's got a microphone built in. Why wouldn't it be? But, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, usage and diagnostics. It's got a, where was it? It was in here. It's got a little TV timer. Tells you how long it's been running for. I've been doing 13 hours. Yeah, no, it's good. When I went full white, you could tell that it was dimmer, but it was not horribly dimmer. It just, yeah, it was fine.
It was discovered in 2018.
It works. There's nothing really much to say. It works. It is very peculiar. It is very peculiar. There's a lot of oddities where it make me scratch my head. I'm trying to think. I know there's one more.
Behind the clouds, and it's going to be a while before we can clear those clouds.
Yeah, I mean, you get the point. It has a lot of promise, I would think. I know that there's... Oh, yeah, that's nice. Oh, okay. But, I know that a lot of TVs don't do custom firmware because obviously the stakes are so high. I would wonder, this would be, if anybody was going to do a custom firmware on a TV, this would be the TV because it really needs some custom firmware to really shine. The panel's great. Panel's fantastic. The Android, it works. The processor's not the quickest. When I switched it from basic to the full Google TV experience, it was it did take longer than my Odroid N2, but my Odroid N2 is also a very beefy box. So I guess it's not the fairest to compare the two, but it's capable. Here, I'll switch to it. We'll show you the Google TV Home. And I'll scroll through. It's not going to work because I pulled it off my Wi-Fi already, but I mean, I can scroll through and the scrolling's pretty quick. I mean, it's Google TV. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be. And it all jumps through pretty quick. You know, not really much lag or anything. Possibly if, you know, you're running intensive applications. I don't think you're going to be gaming on it, but, you know, it's capable. I would still say if you're paying $800 for the TV, then just go to Walmart and get one of those $20 on boxes, and it's probably going to be a better experience even than that. Hey, look, it's me. But, I mean, hey, it's got my, you know, hooked up to, it's cloudy. I'm probably not going to get satellite today. Nope. unless the thing's off. Really doesn't matter. You see, inky blacks. It's inky black. That's what you'd expect of an OLED. Oh, I didn't hit source, I hit power. Maybe that's why I screwed it up. There we go. No, I was on HDMI 4. I couldn't tell that it was off because it's a frickin' OLED. Compared to, this is not a scientific comparison, but compared to my old LG C7, I replaced it with the Vizio V-Series because I broke the OLED. Long story, not going to get into that. But the Vizio was a touch brighter than the C7. Okay, just for reference purposes. It was the cheap Vizio was a touch brighter than the LG C7. This is apparently equivalent to a B3, the LG B3, which is less bright than the C series. I will say this was notably, significantly brighter than the Vizio V series, the 2022 V series I have. So, brightness wise, I know, as I said, that's not really a scientific comparison, but that's what I can give you. It was, oh, because I was on source 4. Okay, hold on. That is not annoying or anything. Oh, I'd have to get up to get that remote. I'm not doing that. I'm stuck behind the microphone and I'd have to move the microphone to do that. Look at all that blur. Good job, autofocus. You're doing great. Doing God's work. Yeah, I'm a little too far for those stations. But I mean, you get the point. It works. It works. It's cheap. It's effective. It's got some really odd features. It does some things really well, and then there's a few things where it just fumbles really, really confusingly, because in so many ways, this thing it feels so premium in so many ways. It's so slick, but then there's a few little odds and ends where you're just like, huh. Variable refresh rate does work. I have 120 hertz. I run Linux, so I had to finagle it a bit. I can't run Wayland anymore because HDMI apparently needs YUV 420p as opposed to YUV 422 or RGB. So it defaults out, and apparently Wayland does not support that yet, so I had to go back to X, then force the color space profile. So that was a pain in the ass, but on Windows, all you have to do is tick the little box that says high refresh rate, and it does that for you. It will look, how do I describe this? The colors are more, you're going to notice more lines and gradients, because when you switch to YUV 420 color space, it doesn't have the same color resolution. You're still at 4K and 120 hertz, and because this TV obviously doesn't have DisplayPort, you're not going to get the full 120 hertz in RGB. It has to be YUV 420, and that means that you're going to have color space compression. Let me see if I can get this closer and show you kind of sort of what's going on there. So reds are definitely affected, but those are rectangles, so it's hard to see there. Firefox logo is a perfect example. You see how the reds around it kind of have a weird blockiness? That's because the color resolution of YUV 420 is I don't know if it's half or a quarter of the black and white information, but it's notably, you know, you'll notice the colors are definitely, like the reds especially, have weird oddness to them. And you're going to have that on Windows and on Linux. That doesn't matter, because in order to run 120 hertz over HDMI, you have to make compromises, and this, you know, that's just unfortunately how it goes. And for consoles, I imagine it's the same. They do that all automatically. But yeah, the TV itself's not to blame for that. That's a limitation of HDMI 2.1. of which this TV has 2 ports. It has 4 ports, but 2 of them are HDMI 2.1. But here's the fun part. They're not labeled. So you have HDMI 1 through 4. One of them's the ARC channel, but the other one's not labeled. I don't know which other port is HDMI 2.1. The only one I know that's HDMI 2.1 is the ARC port, because it was specified as also... I saw someone else mentioning the ARC channel is shared with the HDMI 2.1, but as for which other port is the HDMI 2.1 port, your guess is as good as mine. It's not in the manual. Yeah, there should probably be a wiki about stuff like this. I haven't figured that one out yet, and honestly, it's so much effort to get behind this TV, because I didn't really think it through, that it makes it difficult to find out. But it's another, yeah, it's just a lot of little peculiarities, a lot of little attention to detail things that they forgot about. But again, $800 OLED, $800 brand new. It is gorgeous. It is a beautiful picture. It runs it does the 120 hertz fine, as good as it can do considering the limitations of HDMI. Ultimately, I do not regret my purchase. I went and I bought it and stuffed it into my little crappy 2-door Honda Civic, and miraculously somehow got it home and hooked it up and have been playing with it. And you know what? For $800, it is a gorgeous screen if you can overlook the other limitations. And they're not so much limitations as oversights. I have not run into any deal breakers. There's been no significant thing where I was like, oh, that's horrible. There's things where I was like, oh, wow, okay. But nothing that made me go, that made me regret buying this TV. All right, well, I guess I'm going to wrap it up here. Initially, when I was looking for information on this TV, I did not find much, so I figured I'd make a video for anybody else that's looking for more information on this TV and see if it works for them, see if it scratches the itch and gets them into OLED. So, anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you clicking on here. I'm not going to say the typical YouTube crap of like and subscribe, because you know what? I'm not a YouTuber. This is just me making a damn video. So, here you go. Hope it was informative. Take care. Till next time. Oh wait, there won't be a next time. I'm not a frickin' YouTuber.